I don't know what the fuck just happened. I saved that live, so I don't know. What up, Shay2523? The Rob Report. Wow, you was able to get that? The Rob Report? That was available? The_Rob_report. That's amazing you was able to get that. It's a major brand. Dante Smith, YPL624. Thank you. Wani LV1600. Welcome back. Wealth Rebels. Appreciate that. So, wow. Timothy G. What's good? So while waiting for Ty to get on here, what up, Timothy M. Lewis 5? Timmy G. What's going on, Timmy G? So while I'm waiting for Ty to jump back on, House of Sufian. Oh, there you go, Life Mills. My name is not my name. What's happening, bro? They just knocked me off just now and brought me back. There was a glitch in the matrix or something. But if you didn't catch that first part, jump on.
Oh snap! They let me live on here.
What happened? He said, Super said, what about them JFK files? I mean, bro, that's as a person who has studied the esoteric for 30 years at this point, sometimes I forget how long I've been doing this shit, but, it was pretty clear to anybody who really wanted to know what happened with that a long time ago, bro. So I don't know. I mean, it's weird that people, what's going on, enigmatic, the Vixen, is for people to say they don't trust, what up, Ed? Thanks for coming back. They don't trust their government. We don't trust the government. We don't trust them. We don't trust them. But then you rely on everything that they give you. Instead of you using your own sense, using your own processes, taking it upon yourself to seek out and look at, read, watch, process, think your way through the information that's out there to comprise your own assessment of a given situation. You sit around like seal with your mouth open, waiting for somebody to drop a fish in it before you can come to a conclusion about something. It's monkey business. It's monkey business, plain and simple. So, what about the JFK files? What about nothing was revealed that any thinking person was not already aware of? Like one of the most important pieces of that puzzle was the guy who made the video, who happened to be there with his video camera recording it, and who he actually is. Do your little research on who he actually is. Not just he wasn't just some random citizen who happened to be out there with his camera and video recording. If you do your history on who, or your study on who he actually is and what his affiliations actually are, that'll pretty much clarify everything for you. This is why my slogan is think critically, live wonderfully. Think critically first. Because if you do not implement critical thinking into your basic practices, anybody can tell you anything. If you're unable to reason and deduce, rationalize for yourself, and you don't make any effort to develop your abilities to do these things, you will be led around by the nose. You will be told anything. The depth of stupid and ignorant in this society is way worse than most people have any idea about. I was watching one of the cats, Jolly Ginger. Yeah, the Jolly Jolly Ginger on IG. You don't follow the brother, follow him. The Jolly Ginger. It's a white dude, missing a tooth, big old beard, straight redneck. One of the realest lookers on IG. He was at a Trump rally in 2020, and he was undercover acting like Trump supporters. They were where he had on a facial mask, whatever. And one of the guys said to him, Donald Trump is a genius. That's what the J stands for. And he was serious. You're dead serious. Donald Trump is a genius is one hell of a statement. To finish that statement up with, that's what the J stands for? Pobrecito. This is your average person. This is your average person, man. Now, if you're one of these people with that level of intellect, then you wouldn't even be on here with me because you're gonna just be offended by everything that come out of my mouth. Half the time you're gonna be saying, "What are you talking about? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?" You didn't want to be on here with me. This is kind of a platform for people who have some degree of wherewithal and at least want to know something. You know, figure they could potentially learn something or be encouraged to learn something. But if you're one of them people who's like the average person who really does not have any sense and is not interested in developing any sense, you're not alone. You're not alone. In fact, you're part of the biggest group in the world. There's way more you stupid because than there are of anybody else. So if you like numbers, and you like having lots of camaraderie, you're in the right place, baby. You're in the upside down, but you're in the right place for you. You know, but JFK files, any of this other crap that these crumbs that this bizarro man is throwing at y'all or whatever, bro. That shit is of no consequence whatsoever. None whatsoever, bro. None whatsoever. What y'all had better figure out is how you're not going to be a component of that statistic that we're going to be, we melanated people are going to be by 2053, zero median household income. There are so many of you who already are in dire straits. And it's not because all the money in the world is evaporated. It's not because it's vanished and going up into the atmosphere. It's because you're still operating with the same degree of information that you had when you were 17, 18 years old. And you are, 40 now or 30 now. You didn't know anything then, and you haven't bothered to learn anything since then. Meanwhile, the world is rolling along, changing, evolving, expanding, and you are not keeping pace. And somehow you think you're going to be okay. I've heard myself say this on here before. And I realize there are people now who are hearing me that might not have heard me before for different reasons. Maybe they weren't on here. Maybe they weren't ready to hear it. Maybe they've had to grow into a point where they could hear or whatever. But it bears repeating. And like I used to tell Ty when he was younger, I'm taking these things from you. I'm taking away your ability to say I didn't know. So as we sit and speak and you hear, what I'm doing is robbing you. I'm robbing you. I'm robbing you of that all-encompassing, so comforting excuse of, shit, I ain't know. Nobody told me. You're not going to be able to say that because the mind plug told you. He told you. He told you better start paying attention or you're going to start paying everything else. Your sanity, is your peace, your happiness, your children, because if you can't feed your children, you ain't going to control your children. Okay. If you can't house your children, you're not going to be able to protect your children. And if you are unable to assimilate with how opportunities and earning is done in the 21st century, you are not going to be able to protect your children and house your children. That's the bottom line. Then you're going to be going to the people who you say you don't trust. Talk about help me, give me something. Y'all gotta. Y'all don't realize they don't gotta do nothing. They don't have to do shit. And if they don't do shit, as they so often don't, there'll be nothing you can do about it. And if you don't have any wherewithal, if you don't have any information, if you don't know anything, you don't know how to do anything, you don't know how to grow a potato. You don't know how to, build a structure. You don't know how to, maintain the basics of your existence. You rely on a system that you say you don't trust, that you swear is racist, that you swear hates you, but you don't mind relying on it. You don't mind not knowing anything, just waiting for them to tell you what they think you need to know, even though you don't trust them. You see how that is conflicting? I don't trust them. I just rely on them. But I don't trust them though. I know they're lying, cheating, stealing, killing, destroying people, but I'm relying upon those lying, cheating, killing, destroying people. You know what that makes you, right? You know what that makes you. You know what it makes you.
A sheep?
It makes you a no, no. They're talking about overturning the civil rights um, uh, rulings 64. They're talking about returning to segregation. These are the things that people are saying that Trump is proposing. Going back into segregation, um, overturning the equal rights, or civil rights, and stuff like that. So, you know, back to whites only, this and stuff like that.
I,
Have you heard about this?
I, I haven't heard about it, but I seen someone talking about it, and they were making great points for why they agreed with it.
And who was that you saw? The sister on the train talking to that guy,
I think it was.
black,
I'm. I
black
think it
lady,
was. Yeah, yeah,
talking to a dude
she,
who's like a mulatto dude, like a black white dude.
yeah. She was like, I don't want to go to no white restaurant where they don't want me in there. I'd rather
Yeah,
them know that they don't want no blacks in here.
yeah, they got. What I'm gonna go in their restaurants for to get mayonnaise and hot dogs.
Yeah,
We got seasoning over here. We're gonna be going to restaurants with seasoning.
she was making great
Where?
points,
There
but
she
also
was.
understanding the flow of economics, the flow of money would be going right back to our community, and then people will open more businesses to, you know, create those businesses where we don't have, where we were going to white people. Now we can have our own business in those same places. So, yeah, I see the value in it, but I
Well,
also see the backwardsness of how, with that type of segregation, um, people will just be more empowered in their ignorance and their bias to be like, yeah, go over there, and we're
mm-hmm.
so. I think that would be more prevalent.
I mean, probably, but the way that those people have always been impacted most is financially. The people who have the least amount to lose because they don't have anything are the people who would be with that whole idea of you know, yeah, let's segregate. Let's go back to segregation and stuff like that. Without they don't have any businesses. They're not benefiting from the trillion, and change that the melanated community contributes to this economy on an annual basis. So to them, it won't make a difference to them one way or the other. It'll make a difference to the people that employ them, but it won't make a difference to them. And by making a difference to the people that employ them, I think it'll make a difference to them. But by the time they realize it, it'll be the bottom will have fallen out. This is kind of par for the course of these people who continually vote against their own best interests. These are not critically thinking people. These are people who make decisions now and deal with consequences later. And that's that. That's their modus operandi. That's what they do. And then they turn around and blame other people for the consequences of the decisions that they have made. You know, it's a culture of bad character. Culture of bad character, bro. You know, and yeah, it's largely them, but there's a great many of us who've assimilated with the way that they think and operate on a lot of levels. A lot of us have had our minds whitewashed. A lot of us think like the oppressor, like the colonizer. You know, for whatever reason, I think some of us think it it's empowering or something. Some of us may believe that it makes us better than other people in our group or something. But there are quite a few of us that think like the colonizer, you know, which is bizarre. Because basically you hate yourself, you hate yourself. But it'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see how that would actually work out. You know, there are a lot of there are people like that sister that you were talking about. There are quite a few things that are different now. Um, damn, 15-year-old New Zealander breaks 4-minute mile. 15 years old. Wow. Um, there are technological advances in our society that were not in place when we were in the state prior to ending segregation and all those civil rights changes and stuff like that. And today there is a lot less reliance on human labor. There's a lot less reliance on it, right? Money is not being generated the same. Like if you do a bus boycott now, it won't have the same impact as it had before because human beings drove the buses. And if the buses didn't make money, then the human beings couldn't be paid and they couldn't eat and feed their families. Well, they have autonomous systems being developed that, I mean, there are already self-driving cars picking up people and dropping them off. When I'm in LA, I see those cars that drive around by themselves all the time. They be everywhere. The ones that drive by themselves, they be everywhere. And they're mapping out the systems that all the other autonomous systems are going to be built upon. One day, there will be no bus drivers. There will be no train drivers. They might not be airplane pilots anymore. So we're dealing with a different type of economy, a different type of societal structure that won't be impacted in the same way by the reduction of or the opting out of contributing to their systems. The people who want these things put in place already have more wealth than can be spent in 100 lifetimes if they live their lives like Meech lived his life. just blowing money. They can, Jeff Bezos could never work again and blow money like Meech for the rest of his life and still die with more money than most people in this world combined will ever have combined. So they're not concerned about the economic impact of Black people withholding their contributions. They're not really concerned about that. Even as their companies, Amazon, Walmart, stuff like that, are being impacted by the degree of Starbucks, that are being, impacted by the degree of protest that is being done directed at these corporations. The people at the top don't care. They don't care. They know that the things that they're doing are creating the kinds of conflicts that they're creating. And they know that the people are going to respond to it with varying degrees of protest and pushback and so forth. They know that, they anticipate that, and they use that as reasoning and catalyst to do things that they might not otherwise be supported in doing. Well, I mean, if people are going to do this, then, we can't afford to have, all these people working. If only this many people are going to really be willing to spend money with us. So that justifies us cutting our work staff by, 60% and just going ahead and then throwing automation and, some robots and stuff like that to do the heavy lifting stuff. And I mean, basically, we're just responding to society. Society's decided that it's not going to spend as much money as it used to. So we're going to have to reduce our workforce so that we can continue to stay in business, because it's very important for our economy that we stay in business. Not that we're greedy and want to make more money and want to, have to pay less people and be responsible for less people's maintenance. I mean, if we don't have to pay insurance and employees insurance and workers' comp and, unions and deal with all that kind of stuff, then that's just better for us. No, we'll say that we're responding in this way due to the people not supporting the companies anymore, and this is what we have to do. Duh. But Nick is so preoccupied with what WAC 100 got to say that the whole ship is going down. And niggas is still looking around in 1999. Where the money at? Looking down on the ground for 1999 and 2010. Where the money at? When Elon goes send those checks? Elon said he's gonna give us 5,000, 6,000. When are you gonna do that? I'm just waiting for that. I'm just gonna sit back and wait for that. Elon gonna send that money. I'm gonna sit back and wait for that. I mean, you deserve what you get. You deserve what you get. You deserve it. You deserve it. I don't feel sorry for you. Because just like you can make a decision to give all your attention to a bunch of bullshit that don't mean nothing, you could take that same time and attention and allocate it towards something that's going to lift you up. I tell cats about things like this situation, this new opportunity that we're dealing with right now. And all they can think to do is, oh, I'm sick right now, and oh man, I'm dealing with so much right now. It's like, okay, so you yeah, okay, all right. Don't come back when all else fails. Talking about, yo, what was that thing you was talking about 6 months ago, 7 months ago? Uh, well, it's still, but how was this when you initially told you about it? Like you would need like this to get in. Now you need that, and that's gonna be the case with everything. Every opportunity, that's what it's gonna be. Whereas you could have gotten into, say, Apple or Microsoft or any of these companies with Nike, any of these companies with $50, $100. It's like, I'm going to work for my money. I'm going to trade my time for money. And people who spent 200, 150 for a share, 30 years ago, shares worth millions now. They spend 150, $150, and the shares worth millions a piece now, because they moved when the movie made sense. But ignorant people who don't know anything about anything, they want to sit back and be incredulous. make make money from money. I don't know about that. That sounds like a scam. When you say that, all you're really saying is, I'm dumb as fuck and I don't know nothing about nothing, but I don't want you to know I don't know nothing about nothing. But instead of telling you that I don't understand it, could you please explain it? I say, no, I think, I don't know. I think there's something up with that. Do you? Do you think? And that's what you came up with? Thinking that's how you got there? You know goddamn well you don't think it. Cut that shit out. They don't think. You don't think about nothing. You just do shit. And you do it mostly because it's trending. You just do shit. And you're in trouble. I mean, I don't know, some of y'all might not have the capacity to wrap your mind around what I'm saying. But when the shit hits the fan, you're going to be like, oh, that's what he was saying. That's what he was saying. And at that point, it ain't going to make a goddamn difference, nigga. Bye-bye. You're going down. And that's all. And you're going to have to look at your children and explain to your children why it was that you didn't do the things that you needed to do. Didn't you understand? Like, why do you keep on just trying to trade time for money? And everybody else understood that you can't do that. It doesn't work. It does not work. If you're not getting six figures, annual figure, which high 80% of you are not. High 80%, like 89% of you are not. It's like 12% of the population of this country that's making six figures. And it's like the people making six figures, and then there's the people after them who are making less than half of that. Average person is making like 40-something thousand a year. Meanwhile, the cost of living has gone up and up and up and up and up, but you're still trying to work your way up. That's why, like, yeah, it's gonna be hell to pay, seriously. But do what you do. Good luck. It's not funny, but what you gonna do? Drag dead bodies? You some of y'all are those dead bodies, that I was talking about, and I think you recognize it. I think y'all recognize some of your dead bodies. I think you recognize it. You think if you could dress yourself up good, dress yourself up, keep a fresh cut, you know, talk slick and shit, people won't know. But you were daddy. You were daddy. You were daddy. You were daddy. You ain't about shit. Like, for real, for real. Like, you really are still a Flintstone, and we are well into the age of Jetsons. You really are. You really are. You don't have to be, but you're choosing to be because I guess it's easier than learning something you don't know. Is that it, son? Is that is that the is it they don't is it easier than learning something they don't know?
I mean, they're watching people who they know don't have it either get credit. So it's like, if I know he don't got it, but he getting the credit, why would I go and actually do it?
That's sick, but I get it. I get it. So it's a matter of screwed up priorities then,
Yeah.
because you use the term credit. So, and just so I'm clear, by credit you mean recognition,
Yeah.
props,
Yeah.
validation, pats on the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your priority, your whole reason for being is to get pats on the back, be validated, get an attaboy, attaboy, you look at you, yeah, look, you fly, you so fresh, going up in that project building,
that tenement, you the flies broke around here. Everybody around here broke, but you the flyers broke. Yeah. Everybody here is like, one step away from the landlord coming and going, get the fuck out of my property. But you the flies out here. I mean, the last time you got put out, I saw that nice stuff you had on the sidewalk. That shit was nice, son. That was some nice shit. That nigga got some nice shit. How you know you got nice shit up in his house? Nah, he had all this shit out on the sidewalk last month. And I saw it. He had some nice shit. So if that's the priority, if that's the idea, it's like I just want to be looked at and I want people to look at me and say, ooh, look at him or look at her. I don't really care to go through whatever I need to go through, learn or whatever to actually be good, whether I look good or not. If that's the priority, then yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Niggas is done. Everybody does think that black people are done. Everybody thinks that. Everybody but black people. Everybody that's not us think we're done. What was one of the interesting things about that interaction between that woman that was talking to that brother who was talking to her? I think it was on the train. He had given her like a Metro card. He had a Metro card. They had like wires attached to it to make like the Metro cards with the mics.
Yeah.
And they were on the train, right? And he says, so where do the Italians go? Like the Italians go with the white people and the whites only, or do they go with us to the restaurants with the seasoned food? And she said, shit, I don't like tomatoes. So he said, oh, okay, so they can go with the white people. They can go with the white people. It's so funny. So
the level of ignorance.
So it's like, okay, the people who are going to be in the instance that, let's imagine that they reintroduce segregation. Okay. They reverse all of the laws that came about from this, the civil rights movement, right? The people who are going to be like the Hispanics from everywhere, like all these people who are not, because it's not like it was during that period. During that period, it was like, white people, black people, and then peppered in like, some Filipinos and this, that, and the other, whatever, right? Some Asians, whatever have you. And they were doing their own community thing. Like the Asians were doing their own community thing, right? So them not being able to go into white businesses was neither here nor there because they were doing their own Wall Street, Chinese Wall Street or whatever have you, right? They were operating within their own, they're eating their own food, wearing their own clothes, living within their own culture. So it's whatever. Once we did what we did and endured what we endured in order to bring about, the end of segregation and the civil rights and all the laws and stuff that went into place, laws against discrimination and stuff like that, then they were able to benefit from that. But they didn't work towards that for the most part because they were already operating within their own contained economy. Now, there's a whole lot more of them because of the kinds of freedoms that our sacrifices and investment and loss brought about. A lot more of them here now. I wonder how they would respond if these things were reversed. I mean, they know that they're not us, but they don't think they're them, do they? They don't think y'all think you're white, do y'all?
Yes, everybody who think they a non-foundational Black American think they like them before they think they like us.
Oh yeah, but just to see that, just to see the faces in response to that reality, I'd like to see all this shit reversed. Cause man, listen, they be like, look, black nigga, yellow nigga, Hispanic nigga, wet black niggas, all you niggas. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what are you? Whites only, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, they'll
I'm
find
from
something out.
Africa. I'm French. Like, well, you just a fancy speaking nigga. Like, you don't get
Yeah.
like you know about that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But you know, it it, it's I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, do I see that happening? I mean, I know it's a possibility. I mean, you got to think about the fact of the matter that it existed. At one point, it was overt, even a law that black people couldn't go to the same hotels, be in the same venues, use the same bathrooms, drink from the same water fountains. It was law at one time. And there are people who are alive that I speak to who remember that. So it wasn't some ancient history. So do I believe that it can happen? I absolutely believe it can happen because it's already happened. So yeah, it can happen. Do I believe it will? Not yet. I don't believe that yet. I'll need more uh, insight into what's actually being done in an effort to bring that about before I believe that, oh, yes, it can happen. Oh, yes, it can happen. Because there's a lot of white people who ain't with that. There are a lot of white people who ain't with it. Just like there was a lot of white people all doing slavery and all that wasn't with it. There's a whole lot of white people that was not with it. A whole lot of white people died fighting people who want to own slaves. You know what I mean? And I think there are a lot more of them now than there were then. I think, you know. So, and I think there's a lot more of them now that would do something, not just not like it, but be quiet. I think there are a lot more now that would actually uh, do something actively against it,
Yeah.
you know, than they were back then. Because I mean, back then they really was doing terrible things. I mean, they were whipping white women for marrying, you know, black men back then. You know, marrying their former enslaved people, you know, and they, you know, when they're emancipated or they, you know, they gain their freedom some kind of way, then the woman, the mistress of that plantation, marries them, and some of the women were being hung, some of them being beaten in the, you know, like publicly beaten as a legal punishment, you know, like it's not new, you know, but I think there are a lot more that are willing to stand up because they understand that, you know, injustice is an insatiable, rabid animal, and it does not stop anywhere. That's the thing that people don't get. If, as it said, Trump and his cronies, his oligarchs, if they were to bring about, you know, some of the wild shit that they talk about, you know, bringing back feudalism and all kinds of shit, you know, and they like, there are people who really, really, really advocate and, you know, they speak about this, like that guy who is JD Vance's mentor, um, who talks about, who talks about you know, a feudalistic system, you know, bringing back, bringing back kings. You know, there should be a white king. Democracy is a failed experiment. We just got to bring back white kings, you know, to run things. Things won't be in order again until we have a white king running things again. These are real people, bro, that really think these things, bro, and they influence people who are in positions of power and authority, bro. And black people barely have black leadership. You know what I mean? Like you barely. I mean, who's the black leader that is like the Malcolm X of today? Who's who's the black leader that is, um, Marcus Garvey today? Where you at? Now, conversely, you got people that are like Hitler. You know what I mean? Like people that are like, really behind encouraging the people who are in positions of power to think and operate a certain way that is really like anti-human, anti-freedom, anti-black, anti-anything but white males. Seriously. Like they really, really are like that. And there's no counter to it, bro. There are no counters in our community. So the only real defense that we have is to have a general condition of thinking, a general condition of, we got our minds about us. If we were thinking, we wouldn't need somebody to stand around and tell us, go this way, move that way, move this way, move that way. If we all had wherewithal and all had intelligence and all had development in our intelligence and knowledge and all, then we would be moving in ways that are, useful and productive for us, and not just doing dumb shit like we do, largely, like as a culture, just doing dumb shit, just dumb shit. So you got tens of thousands running around doing dumb shit, and barely any doing being progressive, speaking progressively, encouraging, working collectively, building collective economic communities, such as the crypto cartel. Like, bruh, I mean, the more, like, it's like every time I start talking like this, it makes me think about what we really got going on, and it just makes me want to click off. For real, it makes me just want to click off. It's like, bro, who are you talking to? This is who these people are, bro. This is who they are. They're going down. That's it. They've decided we're going down, sir. We're going to make up all the reasons in the world not to do every and anything we can do to be better, man. That's what we're going to do, man. Like, that's it. We're going to be these niggas, man, till we die. Like, that's all. And we're going to let our children die and their children die. That's what we're going to do, man. Like, it's ridiculous, man. And my patience for it is becoming less and less and less and less. My understanding is becoming less and less and less and less. Like I really am in a space, bro. I really am in a space. Like I ain't interested, bro. Seriously, I'm not interested. If you're not on what I'm on, like get the fuck on. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear about you. I don't want nothing. Like get on, bro. Get on. Like, go stand somewhere else and juggle shit. Don't stand next to me juggling shit. Shit don't know who threw it up. I'm not going to be the dude like, I'm about my shit. I'm on my shit. I'm focused and I'm doing what I got to do. And the nigga standing next to me, he just doing dumb shit. He just got turds. He just juggling turds. I'm going to be standing going, yeah, that's my man. Yeah. That's him, man. I don't get down like that. But my man, that's my man. We grew up together. You know what I'm saying? He be bugging. He be wilding. Like, nigga, get the fuck away from me, nigga. Go over there. Get away from me. Don't talk to me. Don't text me. Don't hit me up. Like, go find a hole. Get in that hole. Cover yourself up. But remove yourself from my consciousness, my space. That's the kind of attitude any of us who consider themselves to be progressive, who consider themselves to be positive about something, that's what you got to do. You don't carry dead bodies. You bury dead bodies. But don't do it like Big U did it. He didn't put them deep enough. Not to make light, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what happened. You got to bury them dead bodies deep, baby. You got to bury them dead bodies deep. You really do. Because if you don't, they come back to haunt you. You know? And of course, I'm using that as an analogy for allowing non-productive people, negative people, ignorant people, people who don't want to learn, who don't want to do more so they can be more and have more, allowing them people to be in your life, allowing them to be around you, smoking with them, kicking it with them, hanging out with them. They're just an accident waiting to happen, looking for somewhere to happen, and you in the passenger seat fucking with them. You got to stop that. You got to stop it. You have to stop it. If you don't stop it, it's going to stop you. It's going to end you. I'm telling you. It's going to end you. You got to get with those of us who are really trying to do something. Get with us that's really trying to build while we can. Y'all, this guy has been in office. Has it been 100 days yet?
No.
You see all the shit this dude is doing? How he's changing this country and impacting the world in just 100 days? There's never been this much stark change in my lifetime, bro. There's never been this much stark change before. Like, and it's not, none of the things he's done has been beneficial in any way to regular people. When I say regular people, I'm talking about the white majority in this country. It has not been conducive or productive for them. So, as I've said many times before, if it gives white people a cold, it gives us pneumonia. If it makes them sick, it puts us in the grave. Our fates are attached to theirs because we have not, in all this time and spending all this money on all these things, created a collective economy that is not contingent upon their situation. If their situation falls apart, our situation falls apart. And their situation is falling apart. He's tearing it apart because there's a small group of people whom he's concerned with. So they are being negatively impacted, which means we are being destroyed. And we're so despondent, we're so outside of our minds that we don't even realize how fucked we are. We are fucked, bro. Like, the boomerang has gone out. Wait till it comes back. When that thing touches back, it's going to knock heads off, bro. It's going to knock heads off. People ain't going to even be able to trust people. They're going to have to be, I mean, it's already really been happening. All the people who have been scammed by people whom they might have even known. Why do you think people you know are taking advantage of you? Because they're desperate. They're losing it. They're desperate. They feel justified. Man, lights is off, man. Need food, man. I got to do what I got to do. To you. Because who else I'm going to do it to? Who else is around me? Who else will I have access to? Nobody. Just you. Because you're my neighbor. So, you know. It is what it is, man. Like, on some real shit. Crypto cartel people, holler at me. Holler at me. I'm telling you, because if you don't grab a hold of something while you can, soon the music's gonna stop. Y'all played musical chairs before. You know what happens when there's no chairs left and the music stops? You be on your ass. Ain't nobody coming to help you. Ain't nobody trying to help nobody on their ass. Because you can't do nothing for them. They know you can't do nothing for them because you're on your ass. You can't do nothing for me. Why should I help you? Why should I take my resources and help you if you can't do anything for me? What am I, Robin Hood? Captain Save them? Not in the black community. Ain't gonna be none of that. Whiteys, they got extra resources. They can afford to help each other out. We don't have nothing. And those of us that do have something, what do we want to do with it? Go give it to Whitey. You know, go give it to Whitey. Go buy his cars, go buy his jewelry, go buy his clothes, buy his sneakers. Not bringing it to you. Not gonna help you, that's for sure. You down? Well, you can't do shit for me. Call me when you get on your feet. Maybe we can do something together. You hear me now, but you're gonna believe me later on. For real. I'm going, son. I gotta get to this situation, get to this bread, man. But I love you.
Love you too.
I will the best for you. You know, my grandsons are relying upon you to make it better, to prepare a future for them, to lay a road for them, to devise a plan for them. And I don't believe you're going to fail them. You know, as for the rest of y'all, remember, think critically so you can live wonderfully. Peace.